weather.
Good
Hey.
afternoon, everybody. We are live with Jen and Em, and they are both glowing in the beautiful sunlight of this amazing day that we've got as the weather is turning. But bugger the weather, we've got more important things to talk about, such as Adolescence on Netflix, solar eclipse.
You're looking at the photos, aren't you? Below the blue light beings visiting. That's what this one is. Sorry, I've created a little sideshow chat. So
Virginia, Emily, will Virginia survive the crash she's just been in? She's been given 4 days to live.
That's
right,
so
Shaun,
awful.
like Emily's just heard this story. Do you want to give it a breakdown of it so the viewers and Emily can understand what she's feeling into as well, you know? Instead of going, Virginia's got 4 days to live.
Well, you know what? I don't know if I need but thank you for that. I don't know if I need a lead in, because literally I saw someone was talking about it in the chat, and then when Jen and I were waiting, we were talking about it just then. Firstly, how awful and how sad. I really have this. I'm just going to just check with my guide. I mean, it's so hard to say this out loud. It's such a serious thing, but I sadly don't feel like she will make it, if I'm being completely honest with everybody. But I would love to know, I kind of just wanted to give that first and foremost. I'd love to know a little bit more of the detail, Shaun, if you could share what's happened.
Yeah, so apparently she has been hit by a bus which was traveling 70 miles per hour, according to Ron's calculation. And she shared a photo from the hospital bed where she's covered in bruises. And she says that she has now got kidney failure, and she's begging to see her kids one last time before she dies, because she was married for 20 plus years. This was the guy she met in Thailand when she escaped from Maxwell and Epstein. They were sending her out there to do courses in massage, etc. And she met her future husband out there. And then they've had kids. They've been married for 20 plus years, but sadly estranged now from her kids and separated from the husband. They got a $2 million house, £2 million house together. She was paid 12 million in the lawsuit with Prince Andrew. So massive shifts in her fate. So hopefully we'll have a huge shift to the other direction now, whereby she pulls through this. She's saying 4 days to live as she was transferred to a specialist hospital in urology. This year's been the worst start to a new year, but I won't bore anyone with the details. It's important to note that when a school bus driver comes at you driving 110 kilometers per hour, as we were slowing down for a turn, no matter what your car is made of, it might as well be a tin can. And we don't know where or when this crash happened. Her father said he was unaware. He's seen her post on Instagram, and he's responded, Virginia, my daughter, I love you and praying for you to get the correct treatment to live a long and healthy life. If there's anything in the world I can do to help you, please let me know. My spirit is with you now and holding your hand. And really sad.
Really, really sad. As you were talking, Shaun, my guides were showing me, and this is, sometimes hard for people to maybe accept, or hard for people to understand when they've lost someone that they love dearly. But what my guides were showing me as you were talking is almost like taking a new path. We do that in our everyday lives. We take new paths, we take new chapters. And I believe, and it's supported by my guides, that our souls take different paths. Our souls choose when to take a left, take a right, when to depart this earth plane. And what they were showing me is that there is a departure here. There is a movement of her soul choosing a different path. And also choosing this path they're showing me is actually just choosing a lighter path. It's hard for us as humans to really understand what happens after we pass, but they're showing me that this departure for her is almost like she's taking like a turn onto a different road. It's opening up in a lighter, showing me lots of light and like bright golden light and like almost like white bright light. That's almost showing her that she's had such a a heavy and constricted life. It's like this turn is going to give her all the lightness and the space and the expansion that she deserves as a soul, and as a spirit. But, you know, it's easy for me to sit here and say that. I know that can be challenging for people when they've lost someone they love, and they lost, you know, they've got friends and family who are suffering or in pain or not well. But just felt like that was really important to share. And all this sadness around her and all this kind of heaviness, this almost like this kind of density that she's been suffering with her whole life, I do sense that actually I feel a sense of relief for her, which might sound a bit strange, but I just felt that was important to share. Yeah.
Do you feel like there's any suspicion or suspicious behavior around the accident?
You know what's funny? I thought the same, Jen. I thought that was my instant reaction. I'm just going to check in with my guides around that. No, I mean, what they're telling me is no, and what they're also telling me is that, you know, there's a difference between free will and destiny, and they're showing me that, you know, everything in this universe is carefully orchestrated. You know, our souls plan and they choose the life that they want to experience when they come into this earth plane. And what they're showing me is like a map. Okay, almost like a map of the world, with like almost, you know how you would if you've got a map of the world and you put pins in it to show you like where you want to travel to and where you wanted to go and where you want to visit. It's almost like our souls have that, like a blueprint when they come in. And it's almost like they're going to choose, like, that's going to happen then, that's going to happen then, that's going to happen then. So it's a delicately woven thread with, you know, not only our soul's journey, but everyone's soul's journeys interweaving. And within that, sometimes we have free will and we divert and things happen. But well, they're showing me that this has happened exactly as it was meant to. But it does seem unfortunate, Jen, right? I think that this poor girl's been through so much. It seems so unfortunate in terms of like, really, and that's where I go as Emily, not as, you know, in terms of my work. I think, how would a soul choose that? How? But obviously I can't understand that. I can't speak for her soul, but I just find it tragic, really, really tragic. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. So, Shaun, what are your views on this whole situation?
My first thought, Jen, was that story you always tell me about the farmer.
Chinese farmer. Yeah.
The parable of the Chinese farmer, Emily. Whenever I complain about things or if things aren't going right, Jen has two responses. One is that you're no longer facing 200 years thinking you're never going to get out of jail for the rest of your life and, you know, thinking about unaliving yourself and living with the cockroaches, which tends to put me back in check. And the other one is she goes on a big monologue about the parable of the Chinese farmer.
So it's the story of the Chinese farmer. I've just pulled it up by Alan Watts. He was a philosopher who gave lectures at universities across the United States. So I'm going to put a link to this because obviously it's quite a long one, isn't it? But it's along the guide of, make this a reminder to read this when you're in a bad situation. You will never know what will be the consequence of misfortune, or you will never know what will be the consequences of good fortune. So just remember that bit. You will never know what will be the consequence of the misfortune, or you will never know what will be the consequences of the good fortune. So just because something appears it's a bad thing, it might materialize into something good, and vice versa. And, you know, whatever way, like, you could turn around and walk, just hypothetically, you're driving down the road, you crash your car. And this is nothing to do with a comparable of what's just happened to that lady, but you're driving down the road, you crash your car. You're like, oh my God, this is the worst day ever. But you were going slow, you know, you bumped your car. That's the worst. Imagine if that was stopping you from going on the motorway that day, someone crashing into you there and it being fatal. Like, just because it appears a bad situation, or maybe it was fate's way of getting in your way, so something worse didn't happen. And the same works for something good. So it works on both angles. So I'm always a positive thinker there, and Shaun loves that about me.
I love that on so many levels. That's so powerful, Jen. And I'm sure Shaun, from his reaction,
I don't think I did it any justice there. I was like, right, I'm going to get it up. But the thing is, I realised how long it is that I was like, right, I'll put a link for that. Like,
that reminded me of something I want to share. Actually, it's very similar, but it's kind of slightly different. And this is from someone called Mary Oliver. I'll give the quote in a minute, but it reminds me of that, Jen. What I loved about that is it's actually just coming into the present moment, being grateful. We were just talking about this a minute ago, weren't we, Jen, about being grateful for what you have in the present moment and seeing everything as an opportunity for a gift. Whatever it is, it's going to teach you, it's going to help you learn, help you grow. And it reminds me of this quote that I just say, I had to find it on my phone because recently, I don't know if you felt this, Jen, I've been feeling a lot of like friends coming in and out of my life. We've had we'll talk about the eclipses in a minute, lots of that happening. Mary Oliver says, someone I loved once gave me a box full of darkness. It took me years to understand that this too was a gift. I'm like, oh, that really hit me when I read that. Someone I once loved gave me a box full of darkness. It took me years to understand that this too was a gift. Whew. And what really stuck with me, it's kind of what you were saying, Jen. It's like life can give us stuff. Life can give us hardship. Life can give us challenges. But it's what you make of it. It's your mindset. It's what you take from it, what you learn from it. You know, if you've got someone in your life that's challenging, or, you know, even if you bump into someone, you know, in the supermarket and they shout at you or they're cross at you, there's something that maybe they're teaching you patience, maybe they're teaching you gratitude. It could be anything, but it takes work to look at life in that way. But once you do, right, it makes you, it brings you limitless freedom. And I love that you shared that with Shaun, like almost like, you know, and Shaun knows that, right? Shaun's know that he's no longer facing 200 years in prison, right? But it's like helping him drop into that presence. I mean, you are a gift to Shaun, Jen. You are the gift.
I've got an earworm playing in my ear right now, and it's, you know, The Life of Brian. Always look on the bright side of life. I can't whistle, but but
it's true.
It's a rare talent, I think, because I think I have. Sorry, Shaun. Right, he's going to have to dash for a minute because there's a bed delivery outside the house right now.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, you go get that. We'll carry on talking about this.
I best put my pants on then. I'll see you soon.
God. See you in a minute. So, yeah, we've got a new bed coming today, and they timed it. They give you a window of about 5 hours, and I knew they'd come in this time. I don't know if you noticed, I took a phone call at the beginning. That was them saying, we're 10 minutes away. I was like, brilliant. When we're doing a 90-minute stream on your 5-hour window, you just plant right in there. But no, I do think that perhaps all the struggles I have faced in my life have made me be so optimistic. Because a lot of people say, oh, you know, if you have too much darkness, you're always going to be dark. No, if you see through those negative times and see how wonderful you are and how you've developed and evolved, I think it's a rare treat. I find it strange when I meet people who, and we were discussing this earlier, who don't have life experience or much deep life experience. I struggle to connect with them, which is a rare thing, I think.
Yeah.
Come past there in a minute.
Yeah, I know. I feel like
I'm going to mute it while he
I feel like you should get the bed people to come in and do a demonstration, build the bed as part of the stream. Be like, right, this is what we're chatting about today.
To the top.
Top floor, please. You're going to give them a copy of Our Time?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. And you know what, everyone? It's, you know, I think when we can start to look at the challenges, the small challenges we face every day, when we come to the big challenges, it makes it a lot easier. I say easier. We're used to looking at it in that way. And yeah, and you know what I was thinking, Jen, as you were talking, don't worry if you need to stay muted. is that, you know, some of the most challenging things I've experienced in my life. Oh, bless you, Anna. Yeah, wow, I'm sending you so much love. And Dark Night of the Soul, whew, I've been through my fair few of those. And think about it, if you look at nature, right? Contraction always comes before expansion. When a flower is blooming, when a rose is growing, it contracts, it comes deep down into the dark, fertile soil, the dark night of the soul, before it shoots up into the light and blooms and blossoms. It is part of life. We cannot expand, we cannot grow, we cannot be the most expansive version of ourselves if we don't contract first. And so life is a series of contraction, expansion, contraction, expansion. It's just the way of nature. Thank you, universe. And if I think of the most challenging things I've experienced in my life, I think a lot of the time, and maybe this is true for everyone, a lot of time it's because of other people, other people's behavior, other people's situations that's caused, you know, me to be in a bad place or whatever. It's always turned me deeper into my spirituality and my meditation. If I think back to people I've had in my life, I don't have in my life anymore, who were very troubled, and it's because of them, and I can say this, you know, because of them that I turned deeper to my spiritual practice. You know, I'm thinking of one person in particular. I won't say too much because it's quite personal, but one person in particular who, you know, really, you know, for a long time caused me a lot of distress and trauma. It's because of her that I turned to meditation and I turned to spirituality, and I started meditating every day because I needed to find some calm and some chaos. I wouldn't be sat where I am today if that person hadn't been in my life. So
That's really nice words you said about me there. Sorry, my humour comes through, but no.
That's so brilliant. I needed that. It was getting too dark. It was getting too dark, too heavy.
Don't embarrass. But no, do you feel that, because we will get on to adolescence, guys. I'm just waiting for Shaun to come back.
It
because,
links.
Unfortunate bed delivery today, as per Mondays. So, but I think we need to talk about this eclipse energy and the portal opening. But yeah, with this eclipse energy, I've noticed, I've sat there and thought about the people, especially this week, who I've had to not cut off, but distance myself from, because our energies no longer align anymore. Yeah. And I feel they're very much either energy vampires or they've got substance abuse issues or something of that manner, and I just can't have that in my life at the moment. And it is become really apparent this week, this energy. I felt absolutely knackered for the past week. It's only today I've got a little bounce, back in my step. It feels really, it was a real tough week last week.
Oh, babe, I feel you on that. And you know what I was thinking? I find it really challenging. I know how you feel. But like if you're splitting up with a partner, right? And this is talking about like a romantic partner, it feels somewhat easier. Then we both love our partners and we're very happy. But think about the past, right? But if I in the past had like a boyfriend who would, cause me stress and trauma and X, Y, and Z, it'd be easier to cut them out. But when it's a female friend and it's a female relationship, it's really, really challenging to cut that person out of your life, because 100%. I don't know if you find this, Jen, but I find it much harder. You think, am I in the wrong here? I don't know. I just feel like it, unless I've done something really, really strong to make you go, right, that's it. I don't know if you find that, Jen.
Jen's days of splitting up with partners are over.
I said no, I've already said that, Shaun. Don't worry.
No, I've had to, over the past year, I've probably said goodbye to, I'd say, minimum of 5 friendships that were quite, they weren't toxic. I think that's the wrong word to use. We were not aligning. And
Jen tries to split with me every day, Emily.
Over what? What are the reasons? What are the reasons?
Don't make me show you today's texts.
Don't make me relive it.
Should we get them up on the screen like that? Just like they're voice notes as well, aren't they?
Oh my God. No, Shaun, you missed the point.
I'm a passionate woman.
She is. I caveated.
I'm just gate crashing the conversation to wind Jen up.
Well, that's the thing. We were on a really nice kind of girly trajectory, Shaun, and you just come straight back in.
Bat out of hell.
In he comes. No, you missed the part where I caveat. I said, you know, obviously, not Shaun and I, Jen and I are very happy in our relationship. So you missed that part. But anyway,
I've been listening.
I bet you have. I bet you have. Does not surprise me. But no, this links really well to Adolescence. I think we should.
Right,
I think we should
get it on.
on.
I've done it, guys. I've done a presentation of what was it, visuals this week. So please bear with. It's my first time uploading them, but look at this. Look at that.
Well done. Beautiful PowerPoint.
Go. So
beautiful.
Shaun, right, Emily, we want to hear your views on this, you know, Crazy Talked About program, because it seems to be haunting me every time I go online, like social media, Twitter in particular. Yeah. Now, Shaun didn't see the fascination or the appeal about it, whereas I found it really emotional. And I went through like a whole different wave of emotions watching it. And I don't know, I thought it was absolutely fantastic.
As did I. So I thought it was fantastic for many reasons. Firstly, just have to say this first and foremost, the cinematography, the direction, the acting, superb. The fact that, and I won't do it justice, the way obviously it's all filmed, each scene, each episode, one take, the way that you know, a drone would pick up the camera and follow the actors around. I mean, that in and of itself deserves award upon award. But I think for me, the reason I think it really hit hard for me is that I have like half brothers and sisters who are all of a similar age. So I've got half sisters who are triplets, and they're all 14 going on 15. They're noisy as hell. I actually saw them on the weekend and love them to pieces. And I also have a half brother who is almost 17, so a little bit older than obviously where this is set. But for me, it just made me think, oh my goodness, like what our young people are facing. You know, we were lucky that we didn't wake up, we didn't grow up with all of this around us. Maybe in different degrees we did, but not in the sense of the social media. And that, I think that's why it touched me specifically. And I feel like, I don't know, just this is my personal opinion. I feel like the reason it had such an effect, and it'll be interesting to see what you think, Shaun. I think because it was filmed so well, you felt like you were in it. I felt like you were literally living it with them, because the acting was so good and you just completely transformed you and took you there. And I think the fact that it was an ordinary family, and it could be anyone, it could have been like your next door neighbor, it could have been, you know, essentially like, thought about my half brothers and sisters, it could have been, you know, could have happened to anyone. I think that's why it just felt so close for comfort. Too close for comfort, is that the phrase? I think that's for me why it really, really hit home. I watched it with my mouth wide open, the whole thing. But maybe it's for Shaun, but just think about, I don't know, I'm not going to speak for you, Shaun. Think about your life experience. So maybe for you, you're like, well, right? I don't know.
So I agree.
Before you speak, Shaun, you've got to think, right? This is a man who is facing 200 years in jail. Like, he's done several TED Talks about it.
Of course.
But no,
plug in.
Jail, and you put your parents through what this boy is putting his parents through, and the situations you're watching in front of your screen. Shaun, how many times did you yawn? Right, I'll get you on the big screen for this, Shaun. How many times did you yawn?
How many? So I agree with everything you guys are saying about it. My rebuttal was that it's apparently been watched 66 plus million times in a record time, making it the most watched thing ever on Netflix.
Wow.
Now, I remember when Breaking Bad came out, and I couldn't go to sleep. I was staying up till like 1, 2, 3 in the morning. I could not stop watching it.
Was that when you were back in Arizona, though?
So that is my bar. That is my bar. I watched Adolescence, and I didn't understand the hype. I agree, it's brilliant. Stephen Graham is one of my favorite actors, and I would love to watch Boiling Point again with Jen. And I never watch things again, but Jen's become a Stephen Graham fan recently, And I think Boiling Point is what is the chef is one of his favorites as well. So yeah, I mean, Adolescence is great. It's got some moral lessons for society, and it's educating families about the dangers of online predators and chat groups and things like that. All phenomenal. I think it's doing a great social message from that perspective. But it wasn't one I was just going to sit there and watch them back to back till 3 a.m. like Breaking Bad, which is. Now, I said to Ron earlier that, you know, like Jen pointed out, I put my parents through hell, six years in jail. They flew 5,000 miles every year to visit me. So to see the pain, the anguish of parents, you know, that is something that I've got to live with for the rest of my life. The trauma I caused on my parents. And that was something that kind of, it was refreshed to me through watching Adolescence. As you can see the toll it's taking on them, especially the day when he calls home and says he's going to change his plea to guilty. His dad's seen the video already, but the mum, you know, when someone's newly incarcerated and they're unsentenced, everyone clings on to the hope that they're going to be found innocent. You know, when I was first arrested, my father, my parents, I'm sure they were thinking, oh, Shaun's probably fallen in with the wrong crowd. You know, he's not done this kind of thing. Parents, when you've raised someone from scratch, you just can't, you know, find a way in you to see the capabilities of criminality in that person because you've shielded them and you've got these hopes for them from when they were little kids that nothing like that, you know, they wouldn't go down any paths like that. So, you know, that refreshed for me what I put my parents through and made me feel doubly guilty. And Jen rubbed it in a bit as well. So it's brilliant. It's a brilliant show. I love Stephen Graham. I understand people raving about it, but it didn't have me on the edge of my seat where I couldn't go to bed like it did with Breaking Bad. I'm not trying to take away from it. I'm just saying, get to that Breaking Bad bar, you got to have me mesmerized.
You know what's interesting, Shaun? I loved you sharing all of that. Where were you on your journey when you were watching Breaking Bad? Like, where were you
when you were
watching it? No, that's not what I meant. You know,
so I was living when I got out of prison. I lived for the first year of my parents in their garage, and then I moved into my mate's bedroom, and I lived in his bedroom for 10 years, and I barely came out of the room, barely ever watched anything. And he said to me, watch Breaking Bad. And I watched it, the first episode, and I was like, oh, this is rubbish. I'm not gonna watch it. And I left it at that. And then he kept on at me, and some other people kept on at me, and I gave it another go. And once I'd watched like 2 or 3, that was it then. Because I was seeing all the parallels. I mean, Breaking Bad is set in New Mexico. You've got California, you've got Arizona, you've got New Mexico, you've got Texas, all in a row. So all of the characters I met in Arizona, the biker gang people, the Mexican mafia people, you know, we had operations in Mexico. We knew people down there, cartel people in prison, the neo-Nazi people, all the people that Walter White encountered on his journey through all those episodes of Breaking Bad were exactly mirrored by the people we met. So there was just so many parallels, but Walter White took it to an extreme with what he did, where they were unaliving people and he was blowing things up and stuff. We never, we were disco biscuits, cuddle puddles, Vicks inhalers, getting our dance on to Cafe Del Mar. There was an element of people doing what Walter White manufactured and what Jesse manufactured. You know, a lot of my co-defendants were partaking in that. In fact, the prosecutor said some of them were chronically addicted to it, and I partook in that from time to time. And so I am familiar with that scene as well. And it is in the beginning, you feel superhuman when you're taking those things, snorting those things. But people go down very fast, especially if they're smoking them nonstop, like Wildman. I would say Wildman smoking the Christina and the White Rocks as well. non-stop, staying up for weeks on ends were contributory factors to his death. And when I do the talks to the school kids on the drugs and the prison side of it, I tell them about the story of Wildman and how he died in his 40s from multiple organ failure from taking those things, contributing to his death. So anyway, I've gone off a complete tangent from Adolescence.
We were enjoying that.
I was loving it. I was loving it, and it makes sense that because you were seeing the parallels from your journey and Walter White's journey. And I'm also going to say that I absolutely adored Breaking Bad, and my partner wants to watch it again. Actually, I don't know if I can do it again. I can do it.
I think I've done it 4 times now. I love it.
I've done it twice, and I've watched the movie once.
Oh.
I've only seen the movie once. It's the series from when you go back to when Jesse is running out of that house and Walter's in the police car with what's his name, and that's when he first sees Jesse running out of that dealer's house.
It is phenomenal.
One of my favorites.
Have you watched the movie, Emily?
No, I haven't watched the movie. Not watched the movie.
Definitely go to that next. Yeah.
Need to get involved. Yeah, need to get involved. I find that, it makes complete sense to me why you would, in a way, almost you can't compare Breaking Bad to Adolescence, but in comparing the sense of just, I don't know, I think just that almost just like disbelief. I think maybe it's because, it seemed, watching Adolescence, it seemed like it, in a way, you can't believe that it could happen, but it also is very believable that could happen. And I guess for you, Shaun, it's like you have that with Breaking Bad. You know, for us in the UK, maybe we haven't lived, you know, that incredible life that you've lived. It kind of still seems so far away, but for you, it was close. It was close contact, right? So no wonder. What's the
I think the only thing we could relate to, Emily, is some sort of spiritual show or like British Bake Off, and we'll be like,
well, you know what, babe? You know what? I grew up, it's not the same, but I grew up in inner city London, so I've seen my fair share of stuff, let's just say. I'm a London girl, born and bred, so I've seen my fair share of life. Let's say.
Definitely. Gangs of London. We've started watching, like, not to go on another tangent here, but we started watching the new season of Gangs of London as well. Talking about that, Shaun's absolutely hooked, but I find the acting terrifying. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's gone over the top. It's like with Prison Break. Prison Break, the first season was extremely gripping, but then it just got sillier and sillier.
It got silly.
I think Gangs of London is going in that direction as well. But another drama has come out called This Is Our City, I think, about Liverpool gangsters. And that, you know, my parents recommended that. We started watching it last night.
What's it called?
Put a 1 in the chat if you're watching the drama on the BBC about the Liverpool gangsters. I think it's called
I've got to get the name of it because you're just chatting bubbles, if not.
It's not got the top violence like the Gangs of London 3. It's got more of a serious storyline. And the guy that it's focused on, Michael, he's a really fascinating character. It starts out with him. He's firing blanks, and his wife wants him to get his swimmers tested, and they're getting IVF. But then it's juxtaposed with the creation of life, with the deaths surrounding the crime family. But I'm not going to do plot spoilers because it does get brutal, but in a more realistic way than the Rambo-like non-stop violence of Gangs of London 3.
It's called, if anyone wants to check it out, it's on the horrid BBC, and it's called This City's Ours.
This City's Ours. Yeah.
It's ours.
Some of the stories in it, because there's a story in one of Charlie Seeger's book, Old School Liverpool Gangster. I think we've got episode 3 with him coming out tonight. And there's a bit in his book where they are kidnapping a jogger. And when I was watching that scene in the Liverpool Gangsters dramatization, I was thinking, wow, this is straight out of one of Charlie Seeger's books. My dad's a huge fan of Charlie Seeger, and if you've not checked these books out, they're available worldwide, including in audio, most of them now. There's about 4 of them, but they are absolutely brilliant. He gets kidnapped himself by a Scouse these really rough people who kidnap him and torture him, and he's lucky to be alive.
Wow. I've got a question for both of you. Like, when you watch stuff like that, like, how sensitive do you feel when you watch that? Do you find that your nervous systems feel a little bit heightened? Because when I watch certain stuff, even watching Adolescence, like, I'm very sensitive, very sensitive soul. So I feel like my whole body gets heightened. I have to be really cautious about what I watch before bed, because I find that it just raises my heart rate. My body gets tense. Do you guys get that?
Emily, Jen was crying at the end, and she never cries at anything.
Oh,
she scores so high on the psychopath test.
Right. When it is an adult harming an adult, but not a man harming a woman. So like a man harming a man, like, not to be like generalized, I can handle it. Like, loads of gangsters going at it. Like, nothing could shock me. They could cut each other's heads off. It wouldn't bother me. When a child is involved is when I get like really emotional and I can't take it. I struggle. And that was a child in Adolescence, in my eyes. Hence the name of the show. So, and I just felt for Ziggy. I thought, what if he goes to school and he's not as developed as the other boys. He's a bit behind, because teenage kids are fucking brutal, right? They are horrid. I was bullied at school. The teenage girls and boys, they're horrible creatures because of all the hormones and testosterone pumping through them. They're evil. And I just think, what happens if Ziggy is getting bullied, like not just by a man, but by a woman who is basically calling him an incel, weirdo, unloved, like making him feel that small, that he felt that the only action or the reaction would be to harm her. And I knew nothing about it, because that's what it was showing. And that's what brought the emotion to me, is his parents literally had no clue. And they were blaming themselves at the end, going, maybe we shouldn't have, let him on his computer so much and left him to it in his room. That's
Jen,
where it hit home.
My question for you is then, with Ziggy, keeping dialogue open, how hard is that once they become teenagers? Do they not even want to speak to you?
I voiced what I would do, though, and not all of it I can say on YouTube. But
I want to know.
She's getting comfy. She's getting her game face on. Right.
How can you talk to your kid to prevent that?
We just have to keep communication open non-stop. Like, I honestly don't think there's a textbook right way or wrong way to do it, because obviously many parents have tried and failed. One of my friends, when I do think their friends have an influence on what they're going to be like. Although he was a clever kid and he was doing well at school until, I remember his teacher saying, until about a year ago. So obviously that's when the bullying started. If I found out that my son was being bullied at school, I would go down there, and God knows what I would do to those teachers. And then I'd go see the children's mums. I'm one of those mums, right? I'm ratchet. I'll go around their mum's house. You watch what I do. And then I would drag him from that school and put him in another school. I wouldn't care. I'm brutal, because it's hard to say. I've got so much passion though. Sorry, guys. I speak with a lot of passion, a lot of love. And being like, obviously, a victim of bullying. And some girls set fire to my hair on the school bus when I was like 13. When I was that age, some horrid, tacky girls. No, I say that now. That's my bitterness coming through. Set fire to my hair on the school bus. And I just thought, I never want my child going through that.
Of course. But also, this is not just to gas you up, Jen, but I was also thinking the way that you are naturally. What I love about you and our friendship is that I feel like I could tell you anything. I feel like I can be my complete self with you. I feel like I can be open and honest about everything and anything. I think you have that as your nature. Like, you have that. So I believe that Ziggy will have that approach with you as well. Will feel like he can tell you anything. I'm not just gassing you up. I just felt that was important to share for the group.
Thank you. No, and I hope, I pray that we do have that line of communication when Ziggy is a teenager and he's going through those difficult years, because they are I think, the most difficult years of your life, and they are really shaping you as a person as well. You think
I've got to go get him. I've got to go pick Ziggy up, Jen. I've just realised. I've got to go.
Oh yeah, right. Goodbye.
Farewell.
Talking of the child, we have
little
so many.
Zigs.
I've got to thank you guys watching. Thank you so much for watching us today. And make sure you check out Emily's links in the description box below this video. She does fantastic work that makes you feel very peaceful in this crazy world. But no, we have Shaun's parents arriving in about half an hour. They're currently on the train from London. And so we will be getting Derek Atwood, you mark my words, on this channel over the next couple of days. I will get Derek. I mean, put a 1 in the chat if you want to see Derekus on the channel this week.
111. Oh,
we'll see if
they're
she's up
so
to
lovely. Shaun's parents, they're so lovely. That's so nice.
How
funny
funny
that
if you're around this week, you and the other half should come over. We're around till Saturday.
Oh, it's so lovely. And how funny what we're talking. Yeah, how funny that what we're talking about, all of this stuff and how it all links, you know, we're talking about Shaun's parents and then they're literally about to arrive.
I know, right? And I've cooked him a delicious. His mum sent me a recipe for this. It's basically a vegetable stew, but they call it scouse. It's a proper northern thing. So I made that for them.
Cute.
No judgment. I hope needed, but I made that before the stream. So no, it's right. It's all one. So yeah, I will be getting Derekus on the channel. But no, it's really bizarre, this adolescence, how it affected me. And I guess I've seen similarities to myself and the bullying that happened many years ago, and then the worry for the future, because how dangerous social media is and how nobody knows how to handle it with their child. Because we were kind of brought up with social media. We're not, dinosaurs, but we were, I'd say, about 16 when it became popular.
Yeah.
But not even as popular as it is now. This is just like we had 150 friends popular. But now it's a minefield, and it's an ever-growing minefield without sounding like, again, a dinosaur. It's hard to navigate through it. And you can't control what content your child does and doesn't see. Even if you put blockers on their computer, they'll find a way to see what they want to see, their mates, or anything. I mean, what is the correct thing to do? There's not an answer.
Yeah.
Like, ban them from social media, that's going to score points, isn't it? Then they're going to rebel and they're going to lie.
Yeah, exactly. But like you said, open communication and dialogue is all you can do, and just being, and maybe just not taking your eye off the ball. I mean, I'm not a parent, so I can't talk, but it's not like the very last episode when they're saying that they noticed that his light was on till 1 a.m. and that they put the computer in his room and things like that. I mean, obviously kids can take their phones into their rooms, right? So how do you police that? But at the same time, I think it's just, I don't know. It'd be interesting to know any parents watching their thoughts on it. But what was really interesting, though, I'll tell you quickly, is that when I was chatting to my siblings, my teenager siblings, and they were saying that everyone at school is talking about it. The teachers are talking about it. They're sending it like emails around to parents saying all parents should watch this. They're going to start using it in schools. And we had a really good long chat about it, all of us, So I feel like at least people are starting to have this conversation, have these conversations, which feels really positive, and hopefully it will prevent, more of this happening. Because that's what Stephen Graham said, that he wrote it as well as starred in it. I mean, what a man! He said that, I don't know if you know this, Jen, but he read on the news about, a young boy unaliving a young girl, and then like 2 weeks later he saw a similar story that happened, but in the opposite end of the UK, and he was like, how is this happening to our young people? So that sparked the idea of writing the show, the screenplay. So hopefully it's just going to bring that awareness, that awareness forward.
It is, but it's hard to gauge. The only thing I was speaking to Ron about this on the earlier show, about, they mentioned Andrew Tate in it. I thought that was a real low blow. The whole series was based on suggestions. So being really suggestive. Like, did he, didn't he do it? Because even up until the end, I was like, did he do it? Or is someone going to come out the woodwork as doing it? Because you could see him pushing a girl to the floor in the video, but you couldn't, you know, see. I was kind of waiting for a plot twist the entire time. Please say it if anyone else in the chat was feeling the same and waiting for a plot twist the entire
For me, without going too into it, but you could see the action of what he was doing. Could you see that in the CCTV? Because I could definitely see what he was doing in the CCTV.
It looked like he was pushing her and then punching her.
Yeah, but it looked like, I don't know how much I can say on this without, you know, but like
that.
It looked like he had the weapon in his hand and he was, you know, using the weapon. That's what I saw.
I think we need to go rewatch the
video. Watch that bit again, because I could for what I saw is that he had the weapon in his hand and he was using the weapon 7 times. Yeah.
I missed that trick. I thought I was waiting for a bloody plot twist the entire time, and
that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and but then when I seen him with the psychologist, I thought, no, he's got it in him. It was But was it me, or you know, the actress? So sorry, I can't remember her name. Who played the psychologist?
Erin Doherty. Is it Erin Doherty? Doherty, maybe.
Princess Anne, didn't she? In the
She
Crown?
did. Yeah.
Stop seeing Princess Anne the entire time. I was
no.
like, stop it, Anne. You're teasing the boy, Anne. I was like, oh my God.
That's so funny. That's so funny. I was thinking that too, to be fair. I was thinking that too. That scene, honestly. But yeah, it's just fascinating. I think it's positive that we're having that conversation. Everyone's having we're even having the conversation now, that we're all having the conversation. Hopefully we can bring more awareness to everyone, you know?
Oh, that's fantastic. Right, sorry, I'm just going to close the door. 2 secs. Shaun's parents have arrived.
Oh, it's all happening today. We've got beds coming. We've got parents arriving.
Yeah, just not alive. I'll be done.
They must be used to it now. They're used to it. You're doing all these lives and.
Oh, this house is the house of filming. They honestly, they must enter a room and just double check nothing's on camera. Are we filming?
Nothing's on. Yeah.
Going on like nothing secret. Thank you, little Miss Madhead Jane, for the Chico link there. If anyone watching, click on that link in the side chat or the links in the description box. Emily's Chicos are amazing. They are dancing yoga. If you need to cleanse your soul, which I frequently do, as you can imagine, that's where I head. Plug. And also follow her on her YouTube channel. And before we continue on to next thing, so I think we'll finish up on the Adolescence. What's your final thoughts on Adolescence?
My final thoughts is that I don't think I'll ever watch it again. I think once was enough. You're gonna have to rewatch it now. I think once was enough. But I'm just pleased that it was made. I think it was a masterpiece, and I just hope the conversations continue. What's your last words, Jen?
I'm right. So I 100% agree with you. There needs to be more, you know, I hope these conversations continue and it gets taught in the curriculum about bullying tactics like that. And they need to upgrade the school's curriculum to deal with matters like this. And amongst other things, I think, like, I'm going to go off on a tangent. Children need to be taught about social media in schools correctly, the correct use, which if there is a term to it, but just safety or online safety, and about taxes. They never taught us taxes in school. I could tell you, like, well, I couldn't, but the like square root of like bloody 64, but then pay your taxes, you don't have a clue. You turn 18, they're like, here you go, sort yourself out. It's national insurance payments. Here's this. They don't teach you any of that. I think it's a disgrace.
So true.
Sorry to go on about taxes.
I wish someone would teach me about taxes now. Someone teach me about taxes.
I think now. You know, maybe it's to have a look, because we are moving with the times, and I think the schools need to recognise that, and you know how you know the internet's evolving, how you know life is evolving, and just kind of work with that to educate children so they don't feel so confused or left out or you know, depressed about all of this. It's a horrible time of your life being a teenager. I don't know anyone who looks back at their teenage years and goes, yeah, it was the best time of my life. And that's unfortunate because you are coming into your adolescence. You should be thriving, not surviving.
So true. Yeah, you know? I know. Yeah, which is a good segue into into life, right? This is the year of thriving, not surviving.
Right? And on to the next slideshow.
Next slideshow.
Right, remove that one.
What have we got next? Should we go into this now? Yeah.
This is something to go more fitting on. So we could talk about, obviously, the I like that copyright, that Jen. The eclipse, the blue light beings or electrical upgrades in the body are on the rise now. I don't know, but I'm feeling drawn to this because I feel like it's all connected anyway. And I could just like flip between the pictures and do a pretty show.
And actually, I think it's all connected. It's all linked. And actually, now I look at it, that picture in the middle has got a spiral. Can you see? It's similar to that's the blue spiral. I've just seen that. Have you just seen that? That's crazy. It's like the same, but obviously different color. So this image, everyone, is it's Lee Harris. It's from Lee Harris, and he talks a lot recently about the future human. And how our consciousness is being upgraded now. Our consciousness is being elevated, it's being expanded. Hence why Jen and I actually called this show Upgrade Your Consciousness. There is this big shift happening on this planet at present. And I believe this also links to the blue light beings. The blue light beings are coming in to essentially create space for that consciousness to rise. But what I will say with that is that, you know, and then what's coming through to me, my guides are saying is that when that's happening, it can also come with a lot of heaviness. It's not just as simple as we're going to upgrade our consciousness and all's going to be well and we're going to just be lifted up and everything's going to be light and you know, everything's going to be wonderful. When we are literally kind of stepping into a new level of consciousness, when we're stepping into a new level of awareness, we do need to filter out the shadow. We need to clear out the old stagnant energy. We need to clear out the limiting beliefs that don't belong to us. And that can be sticky as hell. That can be muddy as hell. It can feel like heavy. So when you're going through, when we're literally being pushed through this kind of upgrading, you might, Jane was saying this, right? Last week you felt really tired. We had a solar eclipse last week. I guess it all ties in. We had a solar eclipse last week. When you're going through all these upgrades, yeah, exactly. We'll feel really tired. You'll feel drained. You'll feel energetically maybe heavy. But no, that comes, like we were saying right at the beginning, that contraction comes before the expansion. So I just encourage everyone to stay grounded. My guides keep saying to me now, stay grounded, stay with your feet on the earth, literally connect to the earth if you can. Take your shoes off and put your feet on the earth, connect to trees, do activities that ground you, whether it's yoga, dance, your shadow work, your journaling, and keep being as present as you can. But it's a really exciting time. It's amazing. Should you choose to step into these new timelines, it's going to open up so much for us. It's going to open up our crowns, our intuition, our abundance, our magnetism. So it's all very positive. So yeah, have you been feeling this? Feeling these vibes?
I've been feeling this upgrade, and it must be so confusing. I was feeling that now for people who aren't aware of, you know, the planetary movement. Sorry, I've got to stick my laptop on charge. Just give me a warning. And who aren't aware of the planetary movements and the eclipse and everything going on, they must feel totally out of sorts. Like last week, I felt shattered. I was having afternoon naps, which I never do. Shaun is a proper afternoon nap person. I cannot for love nor money. I can meditate in the afternoon, but I struggle to nap. Every day last week, bar one, I required an afternoon nap. And then Sunday, I had a lie-in. You heard that here. A lie-in. Never had one of them. Like till I think it was like 11. And I honestly think it was definitely the frequency upgrade that was going on. And I put it down to that. And I was able to navigate my day based around how I was feeling, and like, okay, if this is how it's going to be, and I'm going to feel particularly tired in the afternoon, I'll do, you know, a ton of work in the morning, I'll have relaxation, and I'll do, you know, continue in the evening, I'll work around it. But I could only imagine people who aren't aware of it were, you know, struggling last week, because it was such, I felt it so, well, without sounding tacky, running through my veins. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
It's so strong, but it's so necessary as well for us moving forward on this crazy journey. And we are now officially in spring, I feel, with the clocks going forward. On Saturday, I now feel we are officially in spring here in the UK, at least. Like,
yes.
Yeah. So I want to ask the chat now, did you feel at the weekend was the first day of spring? Put one in the chat if you feel, or if you've been feeling it a while and your energy's been absolutely fine and I'm chatting nonsense, put a 2. I take no offense, trust me. But
I love it.
I love it. But no, it's really, since I've started coming in, you know, going on this crazy spiritual journey, I have noticed just I've got so much more self-awareness around this. And when I am feeling tired, I'm like, I will rest, instead of before I used to fight it with like coffee. Whereas now I could be like, right, your body's telling you need to rest and you know, surrender to this.
Great. That makes me so happy. And that in itself is such a superpower. It's such like, that's an act of revolution, right? You know, to take rest and to listen to your body and listen to your cycle and listen to what you're being asked for. But yeah, I mean, we definitely are, you know, we're officially after spring equinox in the beginning of spring, and we're in the beginning of the astrological new year with, you know, coming into Aries. Like, we are in that brand new start. But also know that, you know, we're right at the beginning. We're not expected to have everything sorted, and everything's not meant to be perfect. Nothing is ever meant to be perfect. We're not meant to have everything lined up. You're not meant to have all your ducks in a row yet. You know, like, really the peak, shall we say, is summer solstice in June. And even then, I don't expect everything to be perfect, but that's what we're building to, people. You know, think about summer, that's the peak. We build to that wave, and then the wave slowly starts to move. Well, yeah, that's the crest of the wave, right? And then things start to fall away, and then we start to let go, release. So know that we're building between now and June. So just still listen to your body. If you still need to move slow, do that. If you still need to take time, like, you don't have to have it all figured out. And they're saying that this is a big period between now and 2027. So it's not like, you know, the whole life's a journey. The whole thing's a journey. So just got to be kind to yourself as much as you can. And just, for me, something that I've been really working on, especially the last 6 months, is just really ensuring that I stay connected to my heart. As woo-woo and as cheesy as that sounds, is really being sure whatever decision I make, whatever action I take, am I making this decision from a place of pure heart, pure intention? Is it connected to my soul's purpose? Or am I doing this from a place of shadow or limiting belief, or conditioning? So just, you know, through all your practices, through your daily rituals, get used to asking yourself, is this from my heart? Do I mean this from my heart? What does my heart need me to do? And as long as you stay connected to your heart, that's all that matters, in my opinion.
And you'll have to bear with, I found probably the perfect advice for this current point of spring. And I'm just getting up. I love a presentation. So no, if you want to continue with that, well, I try and sort this. I'm just emailing it to myself.
Oh, I love it. I'm so intrigued, so excited. Yeah, so
it's just exciting, I promise you. Can you still see me? I'm off screen, I wonder.
Oh, I can still see you.
Oh, right. It doesn't work like that then when I'm off.
What was I going to say to you? But yeah, no, I think just stay connected to your heart. And also, that's a practice in itself. You can't just naturally just, you know, expect to just be in your heart all the time. It's something you have to practice, something you have to, you know, come back to. That's kind of been my meditation practice in the mornings, or even when I'm doing my yoga practice, I'm like, how can I stay connected to my heart? How can I move from my heart? And the more you practice that, you know, when you get distracted, you'll get pulled out of your heart all the time. But the more you can bring yourself back into that, the better. But, you know, just be kind to yourself, because that in itself is a process that takes time. It takes practice. So just keep coming back into that. Good.
Cool.
Good. You can come in. my lovely partner is so polite, everyone. He came home from work and he was being really quiet. I'm like, you can be fine. It's fine. Hello.
We're all friends here.
We're all friends here, she says. He's so
We're all
cute.
friends. We should drop in and say hi.
He's so sweet. Bless him.
No, he is great. But no,
right.
so what is, now that we've been through this huge portal the weekend, this energetic portal, what is the new energy that's going to come out over the next few weeks, though? Because obviously we've gone through the drainage, we've gone through the slow building of spring. Like, is there going to be a mass jump forward now, where, you know, you have that unstoppable vibe? Is that going to play soon, or is it still a slow burner? Because I just feel it is just that slow energy. I am trying my best to get this email up. I'm going to have to do it another way.
Don't worry. Well, it depends what you mean. Depends what your goal is, and depends what you're kind of aiming for. Depends what your intention is. Do you know what I mean? Because, you know, life, as I was saying at the beginning, life is a constant ebb and flow. So really, we've had that big kind of like, I said, that big kind of like rise with the lunar eclipse and the solar eclipse. So we're going to continue, like the moon still continues to ebb and flow. We've got a full moon in a couple of weeks and we'll be back into a new moon. So it's going to continue to like rise and fall. It won't be as intense as it has been over the last month, which is really, really great. But I think it's definitely worth asking all of us asking ourselves, like, what have I learned over this eclipse? Maybe do some journal, do some reflection later on today. What have I learned during this eclipse? What has fallen away? What is new? And then use that as your marker, because it will be different for each one of us. So use that as your marker, to see whether you feel like there's been a jump forward or not. So yeah, I feel like I'm so intrigued, Jen. I feel like it's like leading us on 10.
I'm gonna have to read it out if I can't get it up in the next 30 seconds. I'm just allowing.
Read it out.
Right, 1 minute. I think I've got it.
So intrigued.
Finally. Right. Sorry.
Well, I love your presentations though. I'm
getting on this. Right, guys watching, guys and girls, or you know, they gender. If you're enjoying this. If you're enjoying the presentation, please put a 1 in the chat. If you want to stop the nonsense, we will.
We wanted to make it more visual for you guys. We thought, well, let's give you some visuals. Be nice. You won't get bored of just seeing our faces. So we'd like to give you some visuals, right? And Jen's a whiz with this stuff. She's great with it. So
I'm getting used to it. Right, here we go. Right, and this is going straight up. So this is a sort of, I want to say, poem from O'Donoghue called Thresholds. And I feel like this is very apparent to what everyone might be feeling at the moment, right? At any time, you can ask yourself, at which threshold am I now standing? At this time in my life, what am I leaving? Where am I about to enter? What is preventing me from crossing my next threshold? And what gift would enable me to do it? A threshold is not a simple boundary. It is a frontier that divides two different territories, rhythms, and atmospheres. Indeed, it is a lovely testimony to the fullness and integrity of an experience or a stage of life that it intensifies towards the end into a real frontier that cannot be crossed without the heart being passionately engaged and woken up. At this threshold, a great complexity of emotion comes alive: confusion, fear, excitement, sadness, and hope, which, I mean, I think I felt all them over a day last week. This is one of the reasons such vital crossings were always clothed in ritual. Wise in your own life to be able to recognize and acknowledge the key thresholds, to take your time to feel all the varieties of presence that accrue there, to listen inwards with complete attention until you hear the inner voice calling you forward. The time has come to cross. So this is like an activity. If anyone is sort of feeling like they're struggling at the moment, and they feel all those emotions of confusion, fear, excitement, sadness that spring brings, is at what threshold are you standing at this point in your life? And at this time in your life, what are you leaving behind? Where are you about to enter? And what is preventing you from crossing into the next phase?
I love that, Jen. That's beautiful.
The circle, Emily.
I literally took a picture of it, being all right, I'm going to use that.
I'm going to screenshot it on my phone. I'll send it over to you. But it's fantastic, this. So like, I'd advise anyone watching this to write down those questions and sit with it and see if what threshold you are standing at this moment, and write all those questions down. So all 4 of them, I think that's 4, and see what answers come to you. Have some silence, have some stillness, do it outside while the weather's beautiful, and sit in the grass and ask yourself those questions. And I mean, doing that, I've seen it, like I said, and I was like, food for thought there. And I managed to answer all of them, and it gave me such clarity in what I'm doing and how I'm moving forward during this time when I'm feeling so, what the hell's going on? We're coming into spring. But if you look at yourself, where you were a year ago as well, and how far you've come from that last year. I always forget to do this, and I did this this week, and I was like, wow, sit back and smell the roses, like smell the gratitude, appreciate. Like, life is, it's when you look back at what you've achieved, it's impressive, but you don't feel it. We're always, and it's society has made us into these monsters who are on to the next best thing, like constantly growth, progression, we can't stop mentality, instead of actually just appreciating and having some gratitude to what you've got going on.
Beautiful. And I find like you were saying with the, what was it, the story of the Chinese farmer? Was that
Chinese farmer
parable? Same thing.
I'm going to stick that now.
Stick it in the chat now. It's the same thing. It's like just coming into the present moment, and that's such a beautiful reminder, Jen. Thank you for that. I feel like I needed to hear that today. Like, it's so easy to always be looking ahead, and I read somewhere once that as humans we waste so much energy having our focus in the future, and waste so much energy with our focus in the past, as opposed to just being in the present moment. If we were all in the present moment, we actually would have more energy. We're not thinking further ahead or further forward, we're actually just being exactly where we're meant to be. And very, very often, if we are exactly in the present moment, all we can have is gratitude for that present moment, for where we are right now. So yeah, beautiful. I feel like we didn't really get a chance to talk about everything we want to talk about today. Where is it, 10 past? But I feel like it's a beautiful way to wrap up.
Time to round it up with a meditation. But what type of meditation are you feeling today, Emily?
Oh, should we give people an option? Should we maybe we can either do a gratitude meditation, or we could do let's think about this. A manifestation meditation. Gratitude or manifestation. So put a 1 in the chat if you want a gratitude meditation. Put a 2 in the chat if you want a manifestation meditation. How's that sound, Jen?
Perfect.
1 for gratitude, 1 for manifestation.
Either of them, can you weave into a smooth transition meditation to help us through these transitioning times? So 2 2 2 2 1 1 2 2 2 2 2 A lot of
Two.
twos.
Okay.
Sorry ones. It's predominantly
Sorry,
twos at the moment.
Well, in a way, it all links. It all links. So the
both lol.
both,
I like that.
both.
I like that and be
Yeah.
cheeky. Right.
We can link them kind of both together, because in a way gratitude brings manifestation, right? And also I'll see if I can weave that into like this crushing
the threshold
of life, because my hair is getting caught on my, what's going on? What's all happening? Shall we begin? Let's begin,
I'll make it big on the screen. 2 secs.
Let's begin, children.
God, it's getting so bright in here. I'm sinking into the darkness.
I know, it's wild, isn't it? It's wild, it's wild, it's wild.
Right,
okay, everyone. So, everyone, take a moment to just settle into your seat or wherever you're sat or resting. If it feels appropriate for you to lower your gaze or close down your eyes, then do that. I want everyone to take their focus down into your low belly. As you inhale, your low belly expands to the front, to the sides, to the back. And as you exhale, everything softens in and down. So we just continue to breathe like this. As you breathe in, let everything open and expand. And as you exhale, everything softens. Now, I'll weave in a bit of everything for this meditation. As you breathe, I want you to keep your focus on your body. And if I said to you, what's something in this moment that you feel grateful for? Something in this moment that you feel grateful for, what would it be? Notice the first thing that comes to mind. I want you to see this thing in your mind. I want you to feel it into your body. Because as you come into a state of gratitude, what happens is you are priming your energy to be in a state of abundance and receiving. You're connecting to the highest frequency of you. So see that thing you're grateful for, feel it in your body, whether it's big or small. And then if I said to you, what's one thing you want from your life right now? One thing that you want, one thing you want to manifest, what would that be? See this now in your mind's eye, whether it's big or small, and feel it in your body. How would it feel if you had this thing right now? Because know that if you can see it in your mind and feel it in your body, you already have it. It's already written. It's not something that doesn't exist. It already exists. And as you see it and as you feel it, you're drawing it in towards your life, into the manifest world. And lastly, let's see now how we can cross the threshold together. I want you to set one small intention that you can do over the next 24 hours that can bring you closer to this manifestation. So if I said to you, what's one small intention that you can do to bring yourself closer to this thing you want to manifest? What's the first thing that comes into your head? Something small. And know that each small step we take takes us further through the portal, through the threshold, into the new. So make this commitment now to yourself that you will take that small intention, whatever it is. And before we close, notice how you feel in your body now. Do you feel different? And let's all take a deep, full breath in. And a big breath out. Good. All right, everyone. Just a quick little zhuzh. How's everyone feel after that?
That was fantastic. I sat in the back here also monitoring the comments, and that was fantastic. I'll make it big. Nobody wants to see my half-sun face on the screen there. But that was fantastic. Thank you, Emily.
You're
and
welcome.
If you like Emily's work, or you want to check out her meditation, she's got her YouTube channel, which is obviously there. I am Emily Atchison. The link is in the description box below this video. Please subscribe to her, as do mine. I uploaded, I've got to tell you, I uploaded last week. Obviously, my interview with Shaun's on there, But my birthing video, which I find really emotional, if you want an emotional watch, you cannot see anything untoward on there, FYI, guys. It is just a beautiful moment that I'm sharing with you guys. Every time I watch it, I get a bit emotional. But I've got great news, Emily. The house cleanse you did on my house is coming up to a year ago, is on my dashboard, ready to go. I've just got to watch a few parts of it to see if anything's got to be taken out, and I'll be uploading it to the channel.
How exciting. Cannot wait. That was over a year ago. How crazy.
Yes.
Also, I can't wait for that. Can't wait.
So yeah, if any of you guys want to watch Emily cleanse my house of 2 spirits and a couple of energy balls knocking around, that will be up. I'm going to aim to get that up by tomorrow evening. I've just got to watch it through and double check the edits. But yes, please subscribe to our channels. We're forever thankful if you do. Thank you so much. And Emily's Chico link is in the chat right now. Thank you, Jane. And description. Link in the description box below this video, guys.
Thank you, Jen. Also, quickly, sorry, one quick thing. Also, shout out to Jen's interview with Shaun, which I loved. I got cozy last Friday and I watched it. I loved it. I laughed. I felt emotional. It was fantastic. So shout out to Jen. If you haven't watched that yet, head to Jen's channel and watch it because it was phenomenal. So I just had to give you a shout out.
I rewatched it. I'm so cruel to myself. I rewatched it. I thought I could have done that better. But
perfectionist.
I've got 2 interviews obviously coming up at the end of next month. The end of April. So it'll be out the first week of June, hopefully. May, even, which the lady herself, Emily, and Andrew Gold, as you know it. So I'm going to be asking all sorts of crazy questions to both of them. I've started writing the questions now, but I also like to feel in the interviews of what way I want to take it and make it very, very organic. Yes, there was something else. Mind fart. Right, next week we're not going to be back on, guys, because Emily is hosting a wonderful retreat, spiritual retreat. Is it down in Devon? I want to say
Dorset. In Dorset.
Love that. So we will be away for the week. I'd like to hear everyone's views on the timing of this show, because obviously I know it's difficult for the Americans because it's still very early in the morning there. But did everyone watching this evening find this was a more suitable time at 3:30, or would they prefer it a bit later at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock? Rock, whatever, I'd like to, if you could just put a comment in the box below and just let us know, because we kind of want to play around with the time and see what suits everyone. But yeah, I'm gonna done rambling. I've got the parents-in-laws here, so I'm gonna get going. But
enjoy, honey. Have a lovely time.
And yeah, we will see you all soon. Thanks for joining us, and have a lovely rest of your day, and hopefully the energy settle down for you. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.